What is up, amigos? Hope you're doing well. We all know about Netflix and its fascination with docuseries, web series, or movies on serial killings or killers. They have now ventured into another such Hindi movie which is now released and streaming on their platform. Today we are analyzing and reviewing Sector 36, a thriller that's as dark and disturbing as it gets. While the movie comes with a disclaimer that it's purely a work of fiction, it's hard to ignore the eerie parallels that to some real-life events that shook the nation years ago. Now, before we dive deeper into the film's plot, let me set the tone by reminding you that this is fiction, inspired by certain events but not a direct retelling. So as we go through, remember to keep those distinctions in mind because the truth, in many ways, is often even more unsettling. Sector 36 is a crime thriller directed by Aditya Nimbalkar, produced under Maddox Films. It follows a police officer, Pandey, played by Deepak Dobriyal, who gets involved in investigating a series of disappearances and gruesome murders in the fictional Sector 36. His hunt leads him to the terrifying character of Prem Singh, chillingly portrayed by Vikrant. Massey. Singh is a character who outwardly seems ordinary yet harbors deep, disturbing secrets. As the film unfolds, you'll find yourself pulled into the intensity of the investigation. But it's not just the crime story that keeps you hooked. It's the subtle reminders of real-life horrors that lie just beneath the surface. Now, the filmmakers were careful to state up front that this movie is purely fictional. However, if you dig a little deeper, you'll see undeniable connections to one of the most horrifying cases of serial killings in India, the Nithari killings that took place in Noida between 2005 and 2006. But more on that later. The Nithari killings shocked the nation. Back in 2006, the discovery of multiple murders in Noida, Uttar Pradesh sent waves of horror across India. The case primarily revolved around two accused, Mohinder Singh Pandher, a businessman, and his domestic helper Surinder Kohli. Over a span of 2 years, multiple children and women went missing from Nithari, a village near Pandher's home. Their remains, gruesome, decomposed body parts, were found near Pandher's residence in Sector 31, which bears a striking resemblance to the Sector 36 of our movie's title. While the full extent of these allegations is a matter of court records, the public reaction was one of disbelief and anger. How could such horrific crimes, murders, sexual violence and worse, occur unnoticed for so long? The investigations revealed horrifying details that chilled the nation. Details too graphic to even fully articulate here. Now, to be clear, both men were arrested, charged, and initially sentenced to death. But as the judicial process continued, many cases were overturned due to lack of evidence. The legal complexities of the case remain a subject of debate, and that uncertainty hangs over the story, much like the moral ambiguity the film hints at. So this brings us back to Sector 36, the movie. While it's important to emphasize again, the film doesn't explicitly portray the Nithari case. The similarities are hard to ignore. In the film, Prem Singh works as his domestic aide for a wealthy, well-connected man named Balbir Singh Bassi, a character whose role in the plot resembles that of Pandher. However, the true focus is on Prem's sinister activities. He is, without doubt, the most disturbing character in the movie, echoing the allegations against Surinder Kohli from the real case. In one of the most chilling scenes, Prem Singh calmly directs the police to dig up his backyard, a scene eerily reminiscent of how the authorities uncovered the body parts behind Pandher's house. However, it's not the digging that gets you, it's the way Prem Singh does it. Vikrant Massey delivers a performance that is cold, detached, and somehow far more terrifying because of its lack of emotion. Much like how Kohli's initial confessions were reportedly delivered in an unnerving, matter-of-fact manner, Singh's portrayal in the movie gives us a window into the mind of a killer, though one that exists firmly within the film's fictional framework. One of the more haunting themes in Sector 36 is how society, especially the lower classes, is left abandoned by those in power. The film asks a question we don't often like to address. What does it take for the system to actually care? In Sector 36, it's not until a wealthier family is affected that the case is taken seriously. The same pattern is what made the Nithari killings all the more horrifying. The authorities' delay in responding to the pleas of the slum residents whose children went missing for months before being taken seriously. Pandey, the detective in the film, represents a lone figure fighting against this tide of corruption and indifference. He is no superhero but a flawed man who, by the end, becomes deeply involved in this case on a personal level. His arc reminds us that despite the layers of bureaucracy and corruption, individuals can still fight for what's right, though it comes at a great cost. Now we have to talk about the performances. Vikrant Massey has delivered many memorable roles in the past, but his portrayal of Prem Singh is again another career-defining moment. Massey takes on the challenge of portraying a character who is at his core a monster, yet does so without falling into over-the-top theatrics. The menace in Prem Singh lies in his subtlety. His calm, measured demeanor contrasts with the horror of his actions, and that juxtaposition is what makes him so effective. Massey has gone on record saying he researched serial killers extensively to prepare for this role, and it shows. His performance feels grounded in reality. Meanwhile, Deepak Dobriyal as Pandey offers a different kind of intensity. He begins the film as a by-the-book investigator, but as the horrors of the case unfold, you see him break down emotionally. This breakdown feels authentic, like a man who can't detach himself from the nightmare he's trying to solve. Dobriyal's performance complements Massey's in the best way possible, creating a cat and mouse dynamic that drives the film's tension. The movie isn't just dark in terms of its subject matter, it's literally dark. Most scenes are bathed in shadow, with dim lighting reflecting the oppressive tone of the story. The use of light and shadow here is deliberate. It enhances the sense of dread and claustrophobia that builds as the investigation unravels. This visual style matches the murky moral questions the film raises, particularly around the idea of who is responsible for these tragedies. Is it just the perpetrators, or is it the entire system complicit? This is a question both the film and the real-world case leave unanswered, allowing viewers to visit or sit through the discomfort. In conclusion, Sector 36 is a film that will stay with you long after the credits roll. It's a gripping crime thriller, but it's also a mirror, reflecting the darker side of society, the flaws in the system, and the deep-seated issues that allow such crimes to happen in the first place. While the movie doesn't claim to directly tell the story of the Nithari killings, the inspiration is undeniable. The parallels between fiction and reality make it all the more chilling, and the performances by Vikrant Massey and Deepak Dobriyal elevate it to another level. But remember, while it draws from real events, this film is at its core a work of fiction. And that's it for today's episode. Don't forget to hit that like, share and subscribe button for more deep dives into the stories behind the films. And please don't forget to support us on Patreon. The link will be on the screen somewhere. Stay tuned for our next review. This is Maddie P signing off. Take care.